Hey there, subscribers! It's Thunk00 bringing you the first SimCity 4 video I'm making in a while now. So I've done quite a bit off camera since I last showed you this region. So I figured it would be a nice way to start out today by following the path of the cross-regional coastal highway, which will lead us right to where we are going to work today. By the way, please disregard the noises of construction from outside. My neighbors right outside my window are removing their chimney and extending the roof over it, so yeah, there are going to be some noises. Anyway, the coastal highway enters the region in this corner as a two-lane road with shoulders, continues directly along the coast, right alongside the beach on partially reclaimed land, all the way down over here, where it goes through this agricultural land to enter Port Deliverance here, where it goes right alongside the rail yard and the port, continuing over the hills right here to another beach alignment over to Happy Valley here, where in the middle of the city center you take a left turn in order to follow it, going up the valley all the way, and then over the hills here through the Honey Valley area, and all the way over to Cemetery Hill, where the legislative alignment of the highway actually makes you take a right all the way to the historic center over here, and then a left sort of along the main drag through Tidewater here. But there's also a bypass that would be much faster, just going through some farm fields here. Both roads join up over here in Gwayland, with the easternmost turning lanes in the region. And then the road continues, still two lanes, on south over here, cutting over the hills just above through the hills just above the coast, all the way to the Trapeza City tile, where as it goes through the agricultural lands, before you encounter any buildings, it winds to 4 lanes. And then you can follow that pretty much straight through the port area and all the industrial and commercial districts, and on south here through the agricultural mining town of Blunto, and over the hills straight to San Ynez. Woof. Looks like I got some kind of cloud problem over here. Tell you what, I'll stop this recording and reload the game and continue. Back already. So anyway, this 4-lane road continues straight to San Ynez, and you have to take a left here to get on the freeway to follow the route of the coastal highway. Otherwise, if you stay on that road, it continues as an arterial straight to downtown San Ynez, which is actually the historical alignment of the highway. It used to turn south right here, straight through downtown Sachi as well, before continuing on this way, but nowadays there's this freeway bypass that can take you the same direction much faster. But you don't even have to take that 4-lane road at all. You could instead turn through Trapezas here and take the scenic byway along the coast, over through the agricultural areas of San Ynez, getting on an arterial here which turns into the freeway, which, in some circumstances it might be faster, although in most it probably wouldn't. Anyway, the freeway continues on through, relatively close to the coast through the Masawa tile, which you may remember I did quite a few videos there. And then it takes a right over here, sort of a little bit of a sharp curve, although only when compared to the overall shape of the freeway. There's actually plenty of distance to turn your vehicles. It's like a 500-foot curve or something. And then the highway continues through Lagos. You've got to take the interchange here actually to stay on it. And it continues as 6 lanes, and in some places as 8 lanes, even as 10 lanes over this bridge, through the center of Lagos, through this massive 4-way interchange here, and then goes back down to 6 lanes, just in time for this interchange in the Napoleon City tile, which you would take to the north, and then get on another ramp to go westward, where the coastal highway loses its freeway status, although it does remain as 4 lanes. The first intersection is right here. And then after Watertown right here, this hamlet in the Napoleon City tile, it reduces to 3 lanes and eventually 2 lanes. Here, really, it looks like some kind of antivirus notification came up, so I'm gonna tab out and get rid of that real quick. Okay, taken care of. So the highway continues as 2 lanes, with shoulders of course, up through here, through the Port J tile, quite a windy route, until it comes on the Cyrene tile, where it widens immediately to 4 lanes, and actually continues on one-way road alignments for a few blocks through downtown Cyrene, which is, I haven't shown you yet, but I actually built that way back in June or July. But yeah, you'll see it soon enough. Anyway, it reduces back down to 2 lanes by the end of this tile here, and then continues a short distance away from the coast on into the Latchgea city tile, where you can take a turn to go to the town or just continue on through and exit the region over in this corner. Anyway, the tile we're going to work on today is Cyrene. I've done a fair bit of work on this tile since I last showed it to you, which has to have been before June or July or something, whenever I built those one-way roads. That wasn't too long after the last time I showed it to you. But a couple weeks ago I came back to it, fully intending to sort of fill out the city tile to my satisfaction completely off camera, but I ended up running into a couple of debilitating crashes, so I decided to leave the rest of the work for on camera since I got kind of sick of it right then. Anyway, some changes. This tile is actually one of the greatest examples of how my style has changed since I began building this region. This was one of the first cities I ever built in the region, and although one of the big new things about this region when I started it was that I was using a slope mod, I've actually switched to a much more restrictive slope mod since, so a lot of the road slopes here look very funny compared to the newer stuff. Also, the farm field sizes are in general much smaller than what I've been creating in my more recent work. So, if anything, that's a pretty good excuse to expand the city quite a bit and sort of overlap those farms with residential development. Yeah, another thing I've done in this tile is, you might remember it that this highway going along the rail line here, that was actually the first rail in the region. But I've also added another more direct highway connection to Bartolino right here, and a new arterial road along this side, since the city seemed to be getting to the point where it could use that kind of thing. Anyway, I'll zoom in over the water, because that is safer from the point of view of avoiding a crash. And, oof. Yeah, now is the first thing to do today. It looks like we could probably do some tulips. Now, I've got to be pretty careful with this because there are a number of train stations. Well, as you can likely guess, I just had a crash right there. It's not even the first of the day, unfortunately enough. I already abandoned a couple recording sessions. And I was even talking about avoiding crashes as that happened, so it's a bit ironic. It wasn't too bad though. I loaded the city back up quite fast. I actually got an SSD this week. It took quite a bit of trial and error for me to get my Windows installation working on that. But, yeah, it makes everything run like grease lightning, and no wonder it's been such an essential component of all of Hal Jackie and Sam Google Plexian's videos so far, to use a solid state drive, I mean. Anyway, I said we'd be working on tulips, so now that we're zoomed in pretty much fully, we might as well get started. Whoop. So let me go select the pieces here. We need the type A transition on these 4 sides. Whoop. Yeah. Definitely no T-ends. Alright, get the sort of arrows themselves into place. Woof. Yeah, I have a bit of a cold right now, and I'm also pretty hungover, so my voice might not sound its best right now, but hopefully you'll be able to bear with me. Anyway, that seems like a very good site for a turning lane. It's sort of rural, but it's still 2 major roads, so yeah, I think I'll keep it. This area, of course, is much more of a traditional candidate for a turning lane. So, first thing we should probably do is replace that bus stop I just demolished, except put it beside the road instead of on top of it. Yeah, they're down here. Right there. Beautiful. And let's go to these pieces. Do the type A1 cross intersection, same as we did on the other side. Whoop, not the T-end though. There, much better. Oh, come the fuck on. Why doesn't this want to cooperate with me today? Might as well improve the slope a teensy bit if I can. Looks like I can't. At least not without a fair amount more work than I'm willing to do right now. Alright, puzzle pieces are being a bit more friendly this time around. And almost done with this intersection. Just have to get the intersection piece after this one last puzzle piece. Yep, just like that. Here. Perfect. Now there is one last intersection that could use tulips here, and that is right there. So let's get everything into place. Do the road segments first before the avenue segments. And that does not look right to me. Okay, that looks better. So we want the type A, not type B transition. Woof. Bit of lag here. Wonder what that's about. Alright, now let's get the sort of elongated intersection piece, and that's great. Now, can't really have turning lanes on this road here, or at this connection here, since it's, since they use roundabouts. Kind of a lot of roundabouts for an American-style town, actually. I might be changing that. Over here, could really use a smooth curve, too, so I think I'm gonna... Ooh, looks like I just demolished a starter piece. So I think I'm gonna deal with that. Get that smooth curve into place, being very careful not to hover it over the transit station just across the road there. Yep, the short curve. Perfect. Facing just the way it needs to. Now let's get the other one-way road in place. See if we can't improve the slope a little bit. That looks slightly better. And unfortunately we're going to derp it up a tiny bit more in order to get the starter piece into place, but yeah, it'll be fine. Get our road 4. Yeah, that looks alright. So, I don't know if this will work. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. So, we're going to need to go back to our one-way road and extend those. Just another tile there. Probably need to do the same here. Whoop, that's the wrong direction, actually. Okay. Now get our normal roads. And it looks like I'm doing this wrong. So I'm actually going to demolish that tile there, and it looks like I have to do the one-way road into the Road 4. Is that it? No, I think I just had an avenue there, actually. So, we'll do this avenue style. See if this will work smoothly. And that won't. Come on, I just want to extend it one tile. There we go. And it looks like I'll have to do the same on this side. Except that that didn't work. Oh, you know what? I think it's because of the starter piece that this isn't working. Let's see if I can't get it to play friendly like this, though. Perfect! Perfect. Alright, gonna do a quick save right here. Hopefully the save should be pretty fast because of the whole solid state drive deal. And we are looking good, I would say. So, basically the other, besides road work, what I wanted to do in this episode was to extend residential development pretty far, you know, along all the, basically up until this arterial, pretty much along its length. So we'll get on down in a moment. I want to draw attention to this first. Just a great example of sort of the new type of slopes I'm working with and what I used to be building. I'm not going to rebuild this because even though it looks a bit derpy, I just really like having this overpass, and frankly it's not that unrealistic to have ridiculous steep slopes in some places in your city. Definitely real life cities have them oftentimes. Another thing that I built in this city that I would probably never build now is this ridiculously steep cliff right along the waterfront. Yeah. Bit tough to, you know, retrofit around in order to get rid of that now, but since so much important stuff is basically right next to it on both sides. But yeah, that's not something I would build these days. Not very realistic. Yeah. You can see that I was already have made a fair bit of progress as far as you know, this residential area I'll be working on, and it's not developed since I didn't have the chance to save before a crash the last time I was working here off camera. Well, want to get these things facing the right direction though, of course. Alright. Whoop, that's not how I want it. Now let's get rid of the farm stuff there. Probably be having trees in these mid-block areas. Speaking of improvements we can make, looks like there aren't any bus stops for quite a distance around here, so might as well have one right there. And how's about another one over in this corner? And over here. Here. Where's the closest stop over on this road? Kind of hard to recognize them, if you ask me. Probably need one in this area, so I think I'll just get on that. Whoops, did not mean to do that. And of course that'll mean demolishing that stuff. I think I might just leave it with some nice open area alongside the main drag through here. Seems like the kind of thing people would appreciate along a road in a small town like this. Oop, don't want to overdo the bus stops, but you know, might as well have a lot of them, right? Maybe one right there. And a further one there. And we probably don't need to take it further than that. So, over here, looks like it would be... Whoop. Here's an example of what happens when you install a new slope mod. You can't drag over the old roads you had. Whoop. Probably replace that bus stop as a roadside one. And now we can... wonder how this road should work. Whoa, excuse me. Maybe just drag it like that. Yeah, that should work. Just a nice little residential row, a bit a ways from the other stuff. Now over here though, I think it's important to make solidly residential. So let's go about that real quick. Whoop. Quite a bit of stuff to sort of get rid of over here. We can smooth that out a bit. Very nice. Woof. Yeah, this cold has really been bothering me. I hope it isn't too disruptive. Sort of the sounds of me sniffling. Huh. This is a cool looking neighborhood, but what I could maybe do here to preserve some things would be to use double S-curve to connect this road up. So, let's get that set up. Woof. Wonder what the issue is with it not connecting there. Works just fine now. And maybe we could have a couple houses like that. Some more along here. Don't necessarily need them along this narrow stretch though. Yeah. Just leave that as open land maybe. The people will appreciate it. Yep. Just extending our residential zones. Don't really need that farm building. Alright. That's real progress. Maybe we could even use some nice vanilla looking industrial zones right here along the main highway. Just at the edge of town. Hopefully those will develop into something that doesn't look too derpy. Over here again we'll probably have trees through the mid-block area. And over here needs to be fixed. Got it. This little triangle of land definitely needs to be developed. Looking good. Alright. Woof. Man, my stuffy nose is just killing me. So, I think this area actually looks fairly well set up. I kind of like how this area isn't developed, and I don't think I'll rush to do that. Maybe I'll have some jobs around here, though. A little bit of industrial zone. This is just the easy way to do it, not necessarily the best looking. Yeah, another roundabout. Man, there are just a lot of those, huh? Yeah, not too much I can really do as far as getting rid of this one. Here I could probably... I think I'll keep all the roundabouts, actually. I think it'll be just fine. Well, looks like this area, now that it's sort of one of the most important intersections in town, could probably use a bit of commercial redevelopment. That one right there too. Let's move it around though. Hopefully this should help help to ensure that everybody has jobs when new residential zones come online. And yeah, that seems to be most of the area I was working on. Real shame I'm gonna have to go most of a year in order to get my trees out. Now maybe we could extend the developed area of this town a little bit further. In particular, I'm thinking about drawing a road on through this way. Fix that on up. Just between these two sort of major roads there. We could probably extend this road. And yeah, that should be good. Maybe have a few 4-deep commercial tiles here. Oh, or you know what would be perfect here would be a big box store if I can manage to find one. So let's see. I think all my big box stores, they might only be growables, which, well, if you've watched the Casper VG's SimCity 4 videos, you know that those are not necessarily the most reliable as far as being able to make them appear, the growable big box stores. But yeah, hopefully I'll be able to just spot one or two right here, and definitely big box stores are essential for rural areas realism. And ooh, you know what? I think I actually downloaded the live new big box stores, but I actually haven't installed them yet, so I'll probably get around to that before too long. Wonder what this is. Looks like a decent building. Maybe place it right around here. Yeah, that should be fine. And I guess we'll put a Club Goober. It's kind of based on big box style stores, except it's much smaller than most real life stores of the same style. Or, well, at least I kind of assume the name is kind of based on Sam's Club, but well, I'm not a Walmart shopper in real life, so I wouldn't really know. Alright, we could probably stand to have a couple more sort of big low density commercial plops. Yeah, I really don't have enough of them. Alright. That's a water park, is it? Nah, that's a bit too big city for this place. Huh. So Yeah, that looks like just about all I have actually, so I won't waste your time more. Instead, we'll just have some 4D commercial tiles like this. Maybe not the entire way, but yeah. Alright. And just fill in this area. Like so. Get rid of that stuff. Do something similar over here. Actually, I'll make the zones just a bit less deep in order to leave a little bit more room for trees in their backyards. Whoa, excuse me. Yeah, this is looking good. Looking good. Just looking for more likely candidates as far as areas for redevelopment. Yeah, I could use a quick crossroad right there. Yep, looks fine. Maybe a little shop or something around here, just a small one, to be kind of like a welcome to Cyrene. Alright, so that seems like a fair amount of that stuff. Now over here also looks like it needs to be fixed, so that should be pretty easy to do. There we go. Nice. Fixing up some of the obsolete slopes in this area. And yeah, probably don't need to be doing too much more than this. Don't want to make this episode too long. After all, it would be a shame if nobody watched it because of that, with it being the first episode in a while and all. See what I can't do around here. Huh. Alright, see if we can't get this connected on up. And it looks like the slope is just a little bit too steep, so I'll be changing that a little bit. Jeez. Really does not want to cooperate, huh? Wow. What is the problem here? Maybe I could do something kind of like that. Wow, no, it just will not work. So I'm gonna have to flatten the tile, it looks like. And looks like we finally got it. Gonna have to flatten all that stuff, of course. Oof, even that's not enough. Alright, well this should play nice now. Yeah, see if we can't get this working nicely. Woof! And connect that on up. Very nice. Get rid of those 2 tiles of agricultural zone right there. And let me rip myself up a new Kleenex. Rip myself off, I mean. I actually don't have Kleenexes. I just have a toilet paper roll that I keep on my desk for this purpose, so that's why I have to rip them instead of pull them out. Alright, all our roads are looking good over here. Maybe just one more little industrial zone over on this side of things. And then we'll make the rest of this residential. Looks like that's a safe tile. We'll do the others facing that way. Get rid of a couple tiles of obsolete agricultural zone. That should be good like that. Then this area could probably use another bus stop. Put it right there. And anywhere else that could use one of those, why not one there? And again over here. And again over here. And that looks like a fair number of bus stops to have. So, without further ado, I kind of want to see. Oh, I've done work on most of these roads since I last let the time run, so I figure we might as well, stop wasting time and get on with development and turn around the calendar to plant trees and all that good stuff. It'll probably take a while to get to September 1st. I might as well zoom around a little. That'll slow it down, but at least you'll get to see a bit more of what's going on. Whoop, might as well turn off the volume view for now. I like how the little downtown over here turned out, with the grassy park right there especially. Whoop. Sounds like some farms are developing. Those always create a tiny bit of lag as they come in. Woof. Over here, those guys aren't doing so well. Oof, am I not making money or something? Nah, I'm making plenty of money. I just spent most of it. Well, most of my treasury. Yeah, it's not really called a treasury in modern context, is it? It's the bus stop as I thought. What would you say instead of treasury? General fund, I guess? Yeah, that would make the most sense. Right, just a couple more months to go. Power funding scarcity. How are we doing on that? Looks like pretty much we just need another plant. So what are we using so far? Big natural gas thing. I think we'll replace that altogether with something that'll look a bit less out of place in a rural town like this. Now, of course, I'm talking about the geothermal plant from SFBT. I might as well put it in place of this farm here. The farm is pretty unrealistically small anyway. And I can surround it with some nice trees. Nope, that's not going to work. See if there are any more no Carzots. I don't see any right away, so... Alright. Well, actually, before I scroll away too far, I'm going to check the funding on this thing. Where'd it go again? Wow, this looks really rough. See what I can do about maybe improving this here. Wow, that's no good. No! So let's make sure this is at the right level. Continue it over like that. And like that. Whoop. Alright, looks much better this time. Woof, why is it flattening that? It's completely wrong. Hopefully you don't mind this music too much. Figured it would be nice as just, you know, background noise. I know I have gotten some complaints about music lately, and basically what I say to that is deal with it. Or suggest me something to play that won't get me a copyright infringement. I'll probably play your suggestion if you mention one in the comments. Oh, that does not look right. You know, this whole farm I think is going to have to go. Here. Let's make sure there's no unrealistic dips here. Alright, that looks okay. Maybe we could try to, you know, get rid of those cliffs right there. And beautiful. Now I'd like to replace it with an agricultural zone, but I don't think it'd look right on that slope. Ah hell, I'll go for it anyway. No, this is too small for an agricultural zone. What am I thinking? Maybe have a little housing subdivision? Oh, get rid of the dip right there. See what we can't do as far as this. Really? Okay. It looks a bit better. Okay, finally got it. Nice. And just a minute. Okay, sorry, just got interrupted real quick over there, but I'm fixing this little circuit road right here. Somebody asking me to drive them to work, but the way I see it, if you can't get there in the first place, why would you take the job? And if he takes the bus normally, you can just do that. Okay. So we've got our little subdivision right there. Or, well, it's not big enough to really be called a subdivision, but, you know. Just a nice little area right there. Now let's go ahead forward to September. Hopefully I didn't overdo the residential in this town too much. I know that happens a lot. Alright. Just one more day. Ah, and I screwed it up. Okay, well. So let's get some of these trees in place. Don't need to have it too heavy, especially around a major road like this, because clearly not too much old growth would ever survive there. Over here, though, could use quite a bit. Yeah, like that. I don't want to go, I want to be a little careful, because it does sort of ruin your farm fields or certain kinds of farm fields at least, if you use the God mode trees over them. As you're probably familiar with by this point in the series, if you've been watching it for a while. Okay. Some trees in the mid-block areas here, like I said I would do. And looking good, looking good. Oh yeah, over here could... Wow. I think I redid the slope on this main road over here, so that's why the trees were missing. Again, I don't, like to have them too dense along the rights of way anymore. I used to do it that way, and sometimes it just looks a bit silly. The more seasonal trees I can get in here, the better, too. Okay. Very nice. Woof! That's that graphical bug that's been hounding me since the beginning of my work on this region again. Okay. Just a few more areas to tree up, I think. And over here, of course, very important one. Oof. You know what? I really don't like that. Going to rebuild that really quick. Make sure it's funded fully. And I can finally demolish this right here. Be a nice little spot for commercial development, I'd say. Alright, so I think that about does it. Just to be safe, I'm gonna save here. Save, again, should be very fast because of the SSD. And sure enough, game saved should be popping up any second now. 1, 2... Well, it's only going to make it longer if I start counting. Ooh, I only just noticed this here. I kind of like how that worked out with, usually those retaining walls look pretty ugly, but with that road, it seems to work just fine. Alright, so might as well zoom out and see if I missed any areas with the trees. Wow, I thought I was about to crash there, but looks more or less safe. It's a beautiful town, isn't it? I think so, at least. Oof. Looks like there are some areas that need attention. Good thing I did this. Oh, well, it's obvious why that wasn't working. Yep. Should be good like this. Might as well flatten this, though. Ah, much better. Hate dips like that. And we'll place some more zones to sort of make up for the one I demolished. Oh no! Didn't mean to do that. So, rezone this area real quick. Well, over here, of course. Well, I can see why they're having a problem there. I'll just rotate those zones a bit. Oof. Oh, that wasn't working because, okay, because it was facing a bus stop. So I'll just try to put a 2-tile wide zone right there. Let's see, they keep complaining about the budget, so yeah, gambling is legalized. I guess legalizing gambling is the trigger that gets them to offer the casino eventually anyway. More so than how much money you're actually making. Well, I like how this city's turned out. Don't like that building right there, though. I might keep these two right here. Al's Guns and a tattoo shop. Looks like Australian style retail stores and Custer Foods. Let's see how our agricultural zones are doing over in the sort of western edge of the city tile. Well, looks like they've mostly come in. That's good. Sorry about the graphics bug. I mean, I just have never found out a way to fix that. And nobody seems to know. Anyway, just a few more zones left to build. Maybe they'd come in a bit faster if I placed a few of them with commercial. Hopefully I'm not overdoing the commercial in this town for its size, but I don't think I am. I mean, hard to tell. Keep that. How are those industrial zones I made doing? Over there doesn't look too good. Over here, I always like Black's Ice Company and what's the other one? American Licorice. Those are both good lots. So I kind of don't want to leave until the last residential zones come in, but they might not do that for years to come as far as game time, so I might cut it short in just another couple months. Let the clock roll around to summer maybe. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I have a lot of cool plans for this region, and now that I have this SSD in place and I'm back in the video making game, hopefully we should be seeing a lot of that pretty soon. Oof, this town has kind of bad pollution actually. I'm not a fan of that. Maybe someday I'll rebuild this whole thing. It just doesn't look very professional, you know what I mean? Alright, I think I've spent enough time on this. As you can see here and here, the residential development is still coming in slowly, piecemeal. And it looks like there are plenty of jobs too, so hopefully this should be a job center for a couple of the outlying villages within a few miles. Ooh, I like the look of that. What's this one right here? Plimer's Insulation? It's already historical, huh? Alright. So, I guess, I kind of want to pan over just one last time. You can see I have these 2 train stations here. Kind of unrealistic for a town of only 26,000, but it's better than the 3 I had in the town at one point. Yeah, so I will see you next time.